Let me ask you a question. Do you ever get over top of a golf shot you're about to hit and you feel like you got this strangle hold on this club? Well, what do? You're really trying to control it. You get really tight, your forearms get tight, your hands get tight. You start trying to guide the golf club, and what's your distance do? It plummets. You lose 10, 20, 30 yards off the tee, and it doesn't even go any straighter. That's the most frustrating thing about it. You think you're going to gain some consistency by doing the strangle hold, and you end up hitting one out of bounds, hitting it in the water, everything just falls apart. Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about when you should grip the club very loose in the golf swing and when you should grip it a little bit tighter. It's actually a little bit counterintuitive here. There is one part of the golf swing where you actually want to be really tight. Pros are gripping it almost 110 pounds of force at this point of the swing. We're going to go over that in a little bit. So first, let me go over, Robin, demonstrate here for me, and I want you to start at the beginning of the setup, and we'll talk about when we want to be loose in the swing. Okay. So as you set up, what I'd like for you to feel here is that the hands are fairly loose. Now the reason for this is we want to be smooth and we want to have a feel for where the golf club is. Now let me ask you, if you strangle hold this golf club, feel like you're really tight in your forearms, you're really tight in your hands. Yep. How much awareness do you feel like you have of the face now?
Like literally zero.
Yeah, it just goes away because the head feels so light in my hands, there's no way I can get any feel with this. Now, as you start to get really loose, and what I like for you to even feel is turn the club upside down for me, okay. Grip the head of the club, and just move it around really light in your hands and get a feel for that really light end of the shaft, and then flip it around the other way back to the head again. And what that's going to do is make it feel much more obvious where the face is. We have to have an awareness of this face if we're going to be able to hit it in the middle of the fairway. The ball starts about 90%, 85% the direction the face is pointing at contact, so we've got to know where that face is. So we're starting out with a grip pressure of what I would say is like a 1 or a 2, really, really light. Yeah. Now as you go to the top of the swing, your grip pressure is naturally going to tighten up a little bit, but what I want you to feel is that you're still very light at the top of the swing. Again, I'll have an awareness of where this face is at the top of my swing if my hands stay light. As you continue down, even in the max lag position, about halfway down, I want you to be fairly light here. Now this is where things are going to change. We've kept this really light grip to feel an awareness of the face. From here, we have to release this club. If we look the butt end of the club here, it's pointing down to the ground, and he has a bunch of lag at this point. It's what we call the maximum lag position in the top speed golf system. This is where he's creating all these angles between his arms and the club. He's about to release that. Now, in order to release that, he's going to take the butt end of this club, and as he swings through the ball, that butt end of the club is now going to be facing back up toward his body. So let's go a little bit past it. This is what we call the straight line release, and look at the butt end of the club now pointing back up toward his chest. So he's gone from that club being pointing down at the ground, the butt end of the club being pointed down at the ground, to the straight line release. He has whipped this back up very, very quickly. That part of the swing happens in just milliseconds. It doesn't take any time at all. The entire downswing is a quarter of a second from the top of the swing to impact. That's the last little bit, so he's flying right through there. So to make the club change that much direction, he has to feel like the butt end of this club is turning back up toward his body as quickly as possible. So the force going into this club is actually going this way. He's turning that grip back up and in. The shoulder's clearing out of the way. The hip is clearing out of the way. And then the last link in this chain is the hands and the handle are clearing out of the way. Now, in order to get the club to swing, let's say PGA Tour calibers, maybe 120 miles an hour, there's actually about 110 pounds of force in the grip. They've measured this, some of the leading biomechanists have. There's about 110 pounds of force in the grip at contact. So at contact, when you're turning that grip back up and in, that's when you're going to feel like your hands are fairly tight, and that's completely fine. I want to keep them loose at address. I want to keep them loose in the backswing and at the top of the swing. I even want to keep them loose in the start of the downswing. But when I get ready to release that club, they're going to have to tighten up, or this club's going to be moving so fast it'll fly out of your hands. So staying loose, it's a good idea, but a bit of a misconception. There's some parts of the swing that the grip is tight. So let's go ahead and rip one now. What I want you to do, if you're still struggling with this idea of being loose, every once in a while I'll see some people strangle hold it. What I want you to do is go ahead and take your grip and take your 2 index fingers and point them off the grip here. So now what he's done is he's taken his index finger off, his thumbs are really off the grip too. He's just gripping it in the bottom 3 fingers of his left hand. These bottom 3 fingers here, that's going to be the part that's turning the grip back up. And the middle fingers of his right hand, the middle 3 fingers of his right hand. When you do that, now you're not going to have that strangle hold grip. So let's hit one nice and easy this time. I want you to go ahead, set up with your 2 index fingers off, go to the top, come all the way down and hit that ball through contact, being nice and light with your index fingers off the club. There we go. So now his grip was nice and loose, but the problem with that is he lost some speed. So that's all we have to do. Get this down first to where you take all the pressure off the grip. You feel like you're not trying to muscle the club around. Once you get comfortable with that, for those of you who stranglehold the club, have a tendency to stranglehold, be way better shape after that. Then you can go ahead, grip the club normal, and if you feel a little pressure at contact, that's completely fine. Let's go ahead and hit one now with the normal grip, and I want you to go ahead and stay loose, but go ahead and give this one a good rip.
Okay.
All right, now stay loose with your grip at setup in the top of the swing. When you get down to the bottom, go ahead and let that thing rip, get the speed, and if you feel a little pressure, it's completely fine. Now we've got the correct grip pressure at the correct points of the swing, but we still have a problem. I talked a lot of in this video, or I got started talking about having some lag in your golf swing and then releasing that lag to what I call the straight line release. If you can release that club in front, your hands are going to lead the way through contact, the ball's just going to get in the way, and you're going to play a lot more consistent golf with a lot more club head speed. I have a great video that's going to walk you through what the straight line release is and how to get started with that. I'm going to play a preview of this video here in a second. It's one of the best ones on the straight line release. Just go ahead and click the card up on your screen or the link down below in the description. You'll get started with that straight line release, and man, it's going to make golf a lot more fun. Let's go ahead and get started. A common misconception I see is that we want to create lag and we just want to hold that lag all the way on through contact and get as much lag as we can coming through contact, and that's simply not true. In the release section, we're going to talk about how to turn that lag into energy, how to turn that into speed so that you can hit it very far and do it, like we mentioned, without hardly any effort at all. And as we're coming through contact, we're going to fully release this angle as we're about 45 past contact. So if I draw, a 45-degree angle, I should be looking at both arms, nice and straight, the club splitting those arms, so that by releasing the club, by getting this angle to release as we're coming through contact, that's what's going to create the speed. Our hands are moving a very short distance, our club is moving a very long distance through contact, and it creates that whip-like effect. Very different swings hitting the exact same position. So first let's take a look at Dustin Johnson, releasing the club 45 past. And the reason we're going to see such different swings producing similar positions is that this is the real physics of how this has to happen. Here we're looking at Sergio Garcia. Again, we're going to see tons